I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone this morning is Sue McLaughlin. She is the city manager for the city of Farmer City. Good morning, Sue. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How was your Christmas parade?
It was good. Boy, we had a nice turnout, and it took an hour and a half. But that's a good thing, I guess. And we did our first Christmas tree lighting, so it was good.
Very good. Well, glad things went well and off to the Christmas season and all of those things. But Sue, in the meantime, I know that, while Christmas is here and the winter is upon us and all of those things, you're thinking about some summer stuff already, particularly trying to avoid the situation of last year where you had to close down the pool at points because you didn't have enough lifeguards. Talk about what you're doing to kind of remedy that situation going to 2023.
Right. I can't stop thinking about the sun.
I know, right? You and me both.
Yeah. We're changing things up a little bit, so I wanted to get the word out that we're looking for candidates right now, and you don't have to be a student. You could be an adult. And what we did is we have partnered with the Clinton YMCA for certification classes, and we're going to front the money to, offer those classes so that people don't have to come up with the money. And I'm trying to get a class going for the Christmas break, but I've only received one call, and I need at least 6 to do the class. So if they could call City Hall at 309-928-3412, let me know if you're interested, and we'll see if we can get that going. Otherwise, we'll have to do another one in March.
So putting lifeguards on notice that they are needed and wanted this season then.
Yes, for sure. Like you said, we don't want to have to close. We want to leave it open. That's what it's here for, is to be used. And I do think that the financial aspect, that can be over $200 to get certified.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're hoping that maybe by taking that component out, because, this economy, things are tight,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe we'll get some more interest.
So the city footing the bill for those things then?
Yes, and we're looking at getting some kind of reimbursement, but it would be like 50 to 75% paid by the city, and the reimbursement might be, $10, $20 out of a lifeguard's paycheck over the summer. But we're still working those details out, but we're going to front the money for sure.
Gotcha. Very good. So now, if you don't mind, Sue, I know it's not the most popular of topics, but take us back to last year or last summer and what happened that you're kind of dealing with this or trying to get ahead of this, so you avoid last year's situation. What went on in the summer of 22?
Well, unfortunately, it started with we just didn't have enough lifeguards, and that went on through the whole summer. And I don't know, we pay as much or more than other places, and I think the certification is an issue because that does take time and money to get certified. And then just being a smaller town, we have a smaller pool of candidates to draw from. Other people there's the Monticello, pool, or the one in Leroy. And so it's hard to get, students when you have a small school in town.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times where we had to close early or we had to close completely for a day because we just didn't have enough staff.
Mm-hmm.
And, you think, well, you've got, let's say 10, 12 lifeguards. Well, the problem is you cannot work those guards, every day, all day.
Right,
They
exactly.
have to have some time off.
Sure. Well, and that, of course, on the heels of, the fact that you had, spent a significant amount of money to renovate your pool, correct?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Over $1 million, almost $1.5 million. And so it's a great facility, and we really want people to be able to use it. So we're hoping we get more candidates and not have to close. That would be good.
Yeah. Remind us of the renovation, Sue. And I'm trying to rack my brain even. What did the city do to improve the pool?
Well, if you'll recall, we had 3 pools out there. There was like a baby pool, a medium, and a large. And we got rid of the 2, small and medium, and created a 0 entry pool with, splash features. And then we also added a slide, and then we redid a lot of the infrastructure, which nobody cares about, your filters and your pumps and whatnot. But the other things they might have noticed is we added stairs to the large pool instead of ladders, and redid the lining of the pool. an all new concrete deck, and yeah, it's almost like a whole new pool.
Very good. Very good. So looking for lifeguards. If folks are interested in that opportunity, Sue, who do they call? Where do they go?
Yes, please call City Hall at 309-928-3412. And yeah, let's see if we can get a class going in December, and then otherwise we'll have to wait till spring, and then I start getting nervous.
Sure. So on it now, trying to get ahead of things. Sue McLaughlin is the city manager for the city of Farmer City on the phone with us here for this morning. And Sue, sounds like also kind of getting ahead in terms of starting to think about planning. What's on the radar there from the city perspective?
Yeah, I just wanted to get the word out that the city council did their update to the strategic plan, and what that is kind of they set goals on what they'd like to see to try to accomplish over the next 1 year to 5 years or more. And so we just finished that up and got it renewed. And some of the goals, obviously, the good ones are, your basic infrastructure. Water improvements is at the top of the list. Working on Main Street, whether it's streetscapes or facade improvements. Um, we're continuing to work on code enforcement and getting the I-74 property developed. So those are some of the top priorities that we're going to be working on over the next few years.
When you talk about putting those on the radar, there's some big things in there, Sue. How do you take it into bite-sized pieces and tackle it one little thing at a time? What about that?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about we used NIU Center for Governmental Studies, and they do this for a living, and they helped us break it down into action pieces.
Sure.
And so what that does is you set up, okay, who's going to be in charge, who's going to be kind of a secondary help, and what are our status updates. So, you start a process and then you look back at it, how we doing 6 months later or a year later, and, defining those key tasks. So it's nice to be able to break it down into bite sizes.
And I know that property off the interstate development there, that's really been on the radar, not just for Farmer City, but I know at the county level, they've really kind of looked at that for some time. Anything new there? Anything that you're thinking in terms of what you would like to see developed there?
Well, the development is still the same. We'd like to see a travel plaza, perhaps a restaurant, maybe eventually a hotel or something. But Retail Strategies is a consultant that we've just hired again to kind of help us try to market it and get a developer in there. And then we're also, the one change you're going to see is we're going to get new for sale signs, great big billboard type signs that you'll actually be able to see from the interstate. Right now, there's one sign up there, but you don't see it unless you're traveling north on 54. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So making that more visible then.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll be getting those ordered here after the first of the year.
Sure. Sue, remind me the other components of the priorities that you had said. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Water, I think, is one of the top ones.
Okay.
We're constantly updating our water, but we're going to start replacing more water mains, some of the worst parts of the water main in town, which kind of causes, I don't know if you've heard about, we sometimes have rusty or discolored water, especially when we're hydrant flushing. That's because we have really, really old pipes. And whenever the water gets disturbed, it kind of stirs all that up. And so we're going to start replacing some of that old water main this spring.
Gotcha.
That's the start. That'll take a few years, but we're going to start it up.
Well, and that's not a cheap endeavor either. So how about and when you talk about infrastructure, particularly things like that, I mean, you're really diving into the really deep costs there. So how about paying for those, maybe grant opportunities? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we did apply for a grant last year, but unfortunately we didn't get it, and it was over $1 million. So now we've decided we're going to still apply again for another grant. But in the meantime, we're going to start doing it in bite sizes. So like this spring, we're going to do a couple of blocks. So it costs about $100,000. And if that's how we have to do it until we get some grant money, then that's what we'll do. But we can't sit here and not do something.
Right.
So yeah, we'll attack it that way.
Well, and how much, like, can your city guys take on some of this work to ease some costs there on labor and things?
Yeah, it's ironic that you say that, because actually that's what we're doing this year. Usually we've been contracting it out, but this coming spring our guys are going to do it. because it's only water main. It's, not streets and sewer and curb and, all that other stuff. It's just water main. And so, yeah, our guys are going to be doing it, which is great.
Very good. So yeah, that definitely helps. And of course, even in coordinating, contractors and things like that. I mean, making sure their schedules line up and, the weather fits and all of those things. I mean, that really.
Well, and, I don't know if you've heard about the supply chain issues, some of the things that we're waiting on across the board, you name a department, it's, anywhere from 3 to 18 months out.
Oh my.
And, so trying to get parts. So we went ahead and ordered them about a month or two ago, knowing it was going to take at least 6 months to get them. So, yeah, that's an issue. I mean, in our electric department, transformers are 12 to 18 months out.
Oh my.
So yeah, that's been a struggle as well.
Yeah, talk a little bit. I apologize. We're kind of running down a rabbit trail here, but just the way that that supply chains are impacting you. Not even just inflation. I'm sure the cost of those things are out of the sky. But what else is supply chains impacting right now? And
a couple of things with our street garage building. That was an issue. That's why we're waiting to rebid it out after the first of the year, because when we bid it out a year ago, or last spring, it was double what we thought we were going to pay. And for example, the garage doors were 12 to 18 months out, and so thinking that we were going to get it done within a year wasn't even realistic. Another is the parking lot for the playground. I was going to mention we're going to bid that out, but we did last spring, and again, it was like double what we thought because the cost of concrete and oil and just the availability of those products.
Yeah, no question. And so I was wondering about like salt. Are you, for roads and treatments, is that available at this point?
Actually, that is. We did get about 20 ton, and so we should be good for the year.
Okay, good.
That one hasn't been too bad, thank goodness. But
yeah,
sometimes cameras. We ordered cameras for some of the parks and City Hall, and those for City Hall took almost a year, and we're still waiting for more for the parks.
Wow, man. It's it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's hard to, and I never, thought about it from a, government standpoint, like what entities may be waiting on
because sometimes I think people get frustrated, like, why haven't you done XYZ? And a lot of it is we don't have the product.
Yeah, no question. Well, Sue, I'll tell you what, let's take a time out here, maybe continue this conversation next. Where do folks go to learn about all things Farmer City?
cityoffarmercity.org or our Facebook page.
Easy enough. Sue McLaughlin, manager of Farmer City, our guest on the phone. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.
WHOW YouTube channel.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans double-digit lower. Wheat trading higher. December corn 6.38 3/4 up 4. March corn up 5.5, 6.49 1/2. May corn 6.50 up 4 3/4. January beans down 19 1/4, 14.64 1/2. March beans 14.69 down 19 1/4. May beans down 18 3/4, 14.74 3/4. March Chicago wheat 7.42 1/2 up 8 1/4. May wheat up 8.5, 7.53 1/4. January bean meal down 15.80, 4.55.80. January bean oil up $1.22, 61.23. In the livestock market, January feeders 183.75 down 17 cents. December live cattle 154.10 up 42 cents. December lean hogs 81.90 up 32 cents. In the energy market, January crude oil 73.21 up 2.19. Jim Taylor, RFD.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4Ls with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
CEO Paul Scourin here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. We're proud to be the title sponsor of WEZC's Sounds of the Season non-stop Christmas music, December 24th and 25th for the 8th consecutive year. Tune your radio to WEZC 95.9 from noon Christmas Eve through midnight on Christmas Day, as many of our staff wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Sue McLaughlin is the manager for Farmer City, our guest on the phone. And Sue, we talk a little bit here as we wrap up the year 2022. This is the last time you and I catch up before we flip the calendar and turn over a new year. So how about the year 2022 for Farmer City?
Yeah, we had a good year. You know, a lot of people, I think there was a lot of things that went on that were unseen, but we had some good things. We spent over $1.2 million this past year on infrastructure. Some of the stuff people might have seen was some repaving on John Street and Green and Lincoln. We also did some water and sewer work that wasn't seen at the plants, the treatment plants. Some sand filter work. We got a grant from Congressman Rodney Davis, and we used ARPA money. Some people were asking, what did you do with your ARPA money? Well, we received over $200,000 in ARPA money, and we repaired one of our tertiary filters at the wastewater treatment plant.
Mm-hmm. So what is that?
It's not sexy, but it's needed. So
yeah, why? Well, and that's one of those things, like you said, it's not not glamorous, but it's needed. Why was it needed? What does that do?
Well, it's funny because it hadn't been working for years, and we were close to being out of IEPA compliance. It's the last step in the treatment of solids at the wastewater treatment plant, and so this will help our plant be more efficient and process everything correctly.
Ah,
the
gotcha.
Easiest way to put it.
Sure. Not a lot in ARPA funds, Sue. I that number I would have thought would have been a lot bigger.
Well, we're small. We're a town of 2,000. So,
okay.
It's based on per capita. So, but it was enough for us. So we were happy with it. And then, like I said, we got the sand filter grant, and that helps filter our water at our water treatment plant.
Okay.
And that was that was over $200,000 too. So we were really happy with that. So good work there. Got a new roof on our power plant. And our gun range building, which will be open to the public in the future. We finished the interior of that. As a reminder, our building trades class at the high school helped build that, and it's turning into quite a nice building.
Nice. Now, what's the gun range all about?
Well, we have a gun range out there at the wastewater treatment plant that the police use for their training. And eventually, one of the goals of the council is to open that up to other law enforcement agencies to use, and then eventually allow recreational use. So it's kind of a multi-step process. And as soon as that building's ready, I think we're going to reach out to other law enforcement agencies to see if they're interested in using it.
Get more people
Believe it or not, there's not very many around. And so agencies have difficulty finding ranges to practice on.
Gotcha. So get more people into Farmer City then.
Yep, exactly.
That's only good news for the community for sure. So
speaking of which, we also spent almost $250,000 on our new playground out at Prairie Ridge. And we're going to finish the parking lot next year. And I guess there's been talk about needing bathrooms out there. So I don't know that we'll do permanent, but at least maybe next year we'll do porta potties. But that playground's turned out well. Everybody seems to like it. So
good. Yeah, that's anytime you can invest in parks, people enjoy that very much. I've learned that a lot over the years. So
yeah, and I think we purchased a poured surface. It's kind of like that spongy, surface instead of mulch or pebbles, and that seems to be a big hit. They like that. It's a lot cleaner and less maintenance. That's for sure.
I see. Very good. So what else happened in 2022, Sue, of note in Farmer City?
Oh my goodness. We did finish 2 master plans, a sidewalk master plan and a water sewer master plan that's going to help guide us on what we need to do and when and how to find the financing.
Mhm.
We got a new police car. We got a new emergency siren on the west side of town. Um, let's see, what else did we do? It's been busy. And there's a lot of things in process, but maybe we can touch on that when we discuss the budget next time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that's, as we look to 2023, maybe that'll be our next conversation is what's ahead and what are you looking at in terms of planning? And you talk about those master plans getting wrapped up. That's great stuff. I mean, certainly a roadmap for where you want to go.
One of the exciting things that came out of that sidewalk master plan is, and we knew this beforehand, but there was a lot of comment and interest in a sidewalk along Route 54 that would connect Casey's and Dollar General to downtown Main Street. And so we are in the process of getting that engineered and applying for a grant next year. So
Nice.
That's exciting. I think a lot of people will like that.
Definitely. Well, Sue, I'll tell you what, we've got a minute left with you here for this morning. Just as we wrap up the new year, what's the city schedule like? Anything coming up you want to point out for us?
No, this week is filing week for our council. Elections are coming up in the spring. And we just adopted our tax levy. Good news is we're holding the line. No higher taxes, at least from the city's perspective.
Okay.
Starting budget next month. And just come down and check out our downtown lights, and we're hoping that everybody has a good Christmas.
Very good. Well, Sue, it's always good to talk to you. Where do folks go to follow along with all things Farmer City?
Well, we have a website, cityoffarmercity.org, and most of the updates go on our city Facebook page.
Very good.
So check that out.
Very good. Sue McLaughlin is the manager for Farmer City, our guest on the phone here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM, W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Almost 34 years